Rally Town Sports fam, good evening and welcome to NFL Week 7 Pick'em. Gentlemen, Corey, Aaron. Unfortunately, we do not have Todd tonight. Todd is a little under the weather. Todd, hope you feel better, brother. But guys, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing swell. Swimmingly well is what that stands for, I think.
I dig it. So we got a fun one for you tonight, chat. We're going to be getting into, obviously, a recap of last week. We'll go through our picks this week. It is kind of a smaller slate this week. We're also a quarter of the way through the year. So we're gonna kind of do like our third of the season. If it ended now, who would be our award winners? So MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, all that good stuff. So we'll get into it. Definitely love your feedback as always. Guys, crazy week last week in the NFL.
Yeah, to say the least.
There's no team is left unbeaten at this point.
Yeah,
everybody is taking it out. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, I lit this candle here in the background because last week I got fucked with my picks, so I just figured I'd set the mood for this week as well.
Did you? I thought we all kind of were similar in where we were at with our picks.
I felt like I'd had a bad week. Maybe I didn't, but I felt like I did.
So we'll go ahead and segue right into that.
Nice.
So last week, Josh had the worst week. Josh, sorry, brother. Josh came in at 8-7. Tough week. Obviously, two of the L's were the 49ers and the Eagles, which everybody took those L's. And then a few close ones with
I was happy to take that
Texans Falcons Commanders game. Let's see, the Texans Saints game. So there were a few in there that went one way or the other. Tez came in at 9-6. Pops came in at 10-5. So those are the chat scores. For the four of us, Todd came in at 9-6. Tough week for Todd. Aaron and Corey, you guys tied again.
10-5, right?
10-5.
Yeah, so we're sitting.
So not a terrible week. 66%.
That's good.
I led the way at 12-3 last week. So pretty solid week. Got a couple
Very
games
good
back
week.
on you boys.
What did you go?
12-3.
So if I could have just magically predicted that the 49ers and the Eagles would have lost, then that would have just been a phenomenal week. But
yeah,
what was the other one you got wrong then? What was the third?
Patriots Raiders.
Interesting.
So that
nice
was
week.
the one that I missed.
Nice week, bud.
Yeah,
I think that might be the high record now.
4 o'clock. So
That might be the high record because last week I was 11-3. It's at least high on the season. It's gonna be tough to beat.
It might be the best. Let me take a look here. I can go back and look real quick, see who had the best. So you had a 12-4 week. Corey had 13-3. I think that's the best one.
Makes sense.
Corey,
that you've tripped since then.
Yeah, still in first.
You're tied.
13-3 is the best score to this point as far as just like wins. So 13 is the most. Too. So
fuck off.
So yeah. So overall standings update here going into week 7. Corey and Aaron are still knotted at 63-30. So pretty solid numbers there, gentlemen. I am only 3 games behind you at 60-33. And Todd took 1 game step back last week, and he is at 55-38. So
that's respectable.
I got a feeling the tide's going to turn for Todd. So
hey, he's sick today. We're gonna
at some point it has to turn. So let's get in here. Sarah, thanks for popping in.
What up,
going
Sarah?
On? She is over on Twitch. That is our newest platform, chat. If you guys haven't checked us out there, make sure you sign up for Twitch if you haven't already and go give us a follow over there.
Please help us. We're poor.
All right, boys. Well, Todd sent me his picks, so I have those at the ready. They are on my phone. Are you guys ready to dive into this week?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to start us off tomorrow night, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Saints, and this game is in New Orleans. Corey, lead us off. Who do you have?
This is a tough one. I think this isn't going to be the last time that we say that tonight. I think we've got a lot of games this week
Yeah,
where
A lot of tough ones.
we're just like, I don't know. I was going through and doing my confidence picks this week, kind of, trying to basically rank the games where I felt, the team where they were going to fall and how I felt about the matchups. And I had a hard time finding the bottom here. Actually, New Orleans is favored at home at this one at a -1. They've got a really good defense. I think, at times I've seen Jacksonville struggle against a good defense. I'm just trying to pull up right here what they did last week. They had the Colts, if I'm not mistaken, did they not? And they handled business pretty well, 37-20 against the Colts.
37-20 against the Colts.
Yeah. Saints got a really good defense. They're at home. That's going to play a factor for sure. I'm going to take a flyer here. I'm going to take the home team, and I'm going to take the defense on a short week, and I'm going to go with the Saints. At the beginning of the year, if you had asked me to pick this game, I was like, no brainer. Jacksonville's going to walk through this one. But Jacksonville, while they have, I believe a winning record, they're first in the AFC South right now, they haven't really shown me anything to say that they're the Super Bowl contender that we thought they were. Or at least AFC Championship contender. I don't know about Super Bowl contender. They haven't really shown me anything to say like, oh, wow, we feel really good about Jacksonville right now. So Saints, on the other hand, while they have their own shortcomings for sure, I think they're clearly the best team in their division as well. Being at home, having the better defense, I would say top 5 in the league right now in terms of statistics. I got to go with New Orleans.
All right. Aaron.
Yeah, Thursdays are weird. I have a tendency of wanting to change some of my picks on the fly, and I don't want to. I don't want to do that this week. That's something I want.
I literally just changed mine as it came out of my mouth.
So I had the Saints. I had the Saints written down. I always have them written down before we get in here. The only time it ever changes is if somebody brings up a stat I didn't hear before, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe. Like, oh, that's interesting. And like, hell, I brought up the Jim Schwartz stat last week against the Niners. Again, I was like, I don't know. It's the only thing I saw that made me have any kind of confidence. Turned out to actually be a decent point. But
do you hear the background on the guy that dropped that stat on Twitter? By the way,
no. What?
So I heard this on Pardon My Take. The guy that dropped that stat on Twitter was actually a former high school his name was Jack Hammer, I think is his name, his alias on Twitter.
That's amazing.
Yeah, not a real name. Turns out he was a high school football coach that got fired for hooking up with a 17-year-old. So,
all right. Well, I didn't condone the person.
Hey, nose ball.
Nose ball. All right. Well, anyways, here. It's interesting. So you have the Jaguars riding a 3-game win streak here. Of course, ever since they went over the pond and came back, they haven't lost here. So, you go Falcons, Bills, Colts. Those aren't easy wins by any means. And the Saints have 3 wins against teams that I'm not really, they barely beat the Titans. They skid by the Panthers. And of course they handled the Patriots 34-0, which of course, shutouts are shutouts. We've said this, right? Like, this is NFL football. That's hard to do. But it doesn't exactly look like the most impressive, showing
coming off a bye,
now that we've seen. Right. Exactly. I'm going to stick with the Saints here just because they're the home team on Thursday Night Football. I think the Jaguars are good, but are they 4 wins in a row good? I don't know, but that's a weird reason to bet against them. This is simply you take the home team on Thursday night and fight, live with your losses if you get it wrong.
And the Saints are coming off a bye. Am I correct in that?
No.
They played the Texans last week.
You're right.
Oh, I thought you were saying for you.
Yeah. My bad.
Yep, they played the Texans last week.
There was only 2 teams on a bye last week, I believe, which was Steelers, Packers. And this week we have 6.
Yes. Yeah, there's a ton of teams on bye this week. My fantasy lineup is
booty hole. Booty
hole.
In
a few of my leagues, I got 4 people on bye. I'm like, shit.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know.
So does everyone else.
Yeah, I just don't know how you avoid that. But all right. So we'll go ahead and get into Todd's pick. But before I do that, I wanted to make sure that Todd was represented on the podcast tonight, even though he's not here, in the physical form. So
holy shit, Bobby.
All right.
That's oh my God.
All right.
Bobby, that is amazing. First of all, I hate to do this. But you also have too many clothes on. Yeah. You have too many.
I know. But I wanted to save it for
Hold on. Can we just
you look like Lex Luthor, Bob.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Here we go. Bobby, can you go ahead? Go ahead and take that shirt off.
I will do it off camera. I'm not doing
I don't want to get that. I don't want to get the copyright put on here. Let me turn that off.
You can turn that off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this back on, but I just wanted you guys to know what was under the hat.
That was beautiful. That was amazing.
That's for you, Todd. All right. Well, Todd is also going with the Saints. It says it appears that T-Law isn't going to be 100% going into the game. New Orleans has a strong defense, too strong of a defense for this to be a one-sided game. So Todd's pick is the Saints. I'm going to lean the other way. Yes, sir, Todd. I'm going to lean the other way. I'm taking the Jags in this one. Reason being, I like Aaron made a good point. The Saints haven't played a ton of great teams lately. They still got wins, but they haven't played a ton of great teams. Even they took a loss to the Texans last week. I know the Texans are playing some good football right now, and CJ Stroud is handling himself well. But I just feel like the Jags have had better games. Travis Etienne, I don't think that defense has an answer for him right now. And the injury to T-Law is really going to be the big question mark. But I still have confidence enough that the Jags can go in there on the road prime time. And take that W. So I'm going to be a lone wolf on this one as well.
Huge,
at least for the four of us.
Enjoy that Reese's there, Corey. Big shout out to my guy Trevor Lawrence for just throwing the most garbage time interception of all time last week.
Dude, what a guy!
Really, really appreciate you. Didn't think that one was going to happen. We cashed a 3-pick parlay for a plus 1,000 bet. So
yeah, if you didn't tune in, we did a random Saturday stream.
It was a rainy day Saturday stream,
which just divulged into us. I mean, Aaron and I talked about soups for a solid 20 minutes.
We talked about soup and candy, and then Bobby came out. And he was like, "You guys want to just get fucking dangerous?"
And we did.
Yeah,
we did. We hit one. One.
Yeah, Bobby came in like 6 beers deep from Topgolf, and he's like, "Y'all want to gamble?
Listen,
ride?
Listen to me." That's about it.
It was a fun Saturday, boys.
It was
definitely
awesome.
Do that again soon.
Yeah, that was fun. The rain helped just to be able to get that together.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. So coming in from the chat, Josh is taking the Jags. Tez is taking the Saints, and Pops has the Jags. Can somebody do a proof of life for Ryan Carpenter? That man needs to.
I'll check in with him right now.
Need to see what's going on with that fella. Make sure he's okay. He's missed the last couple, and I know he was all about these picks. So
I'm hitting him up.
All right, let's move on. Next game on the slate, we have got the Atlanta Falcons taking things on the road to Tampa Bay to face Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Aaron, who do you got?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. Tampa did not look good last week. Coming off the bye week. You were hoping to see a little bit more out of them. But, of course, they were playing the Lions, who are just kind of, red hot right now. So it's how much do I want to hold that against them? Because sometimes, everyone always is like, oh, you're going to be so electric off of the bye. Sometimes you just come out lethargic. And it really does look like that's what happened in Tampa, especially when you have a bye in week 5. It's like, all right, there's a couple guys that might benefit, but really you want a week 9 or 10 when you got guys on the mend, and that's when I think that really becomes beneficial. Atlanta is the team to me, I would say, in the NFL that I'm just having the hardest time judging right now. Because, again, same thing. They have some wins, I have some losses to some teams. You're like, I don't know, maybe should they have beaten the Commanders last week? I would say so. I'm going to take Tampa Bay here. I just like their skill positions better overall. Now, it is nice for Atlanta to see, they're fine. Kyle Pitts finally got utilized last week, right?
2 weeks in a row, baby.
But Ritter looked bad. He looked like he just wasn't processing the offense the way that you would hope an NFL quarterback to. He has had some moments earlier in this season that are a little head scratching, but also had some flashes and some moments of, leading some game winning drives and, coming alive when he needs to. I'll take Tampa here just because I think they're a little bit better of a team. Again, from the skill positions, but they're also at home here. And who doesn't love playing in front of that giant pirate ship?
Absolutely.
Gets me juiced up.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and slide in here with Todd's pick real quick before we get over to you, Corey. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. Todd is taking Atlanta. Game of the week? ? Atlanta's defense is actually really good. Run game from Tampa Bay has been lackluster, and I don't think Baker can get the ball into the end zone enough. Bijan has a bounce back game. So Todd is rolling with the hot Atlanta Falcons this week. Corey, who you got?
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Aaron here, and it saddens me to say this, but I think I am officially out on Desmond Ridder. I know it took me longer than some people, and I'll associate my bias on that one.
You wanted him to play well.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely, I did. And I thought he had a lot of the traits coming in. I've been wrong on a quarterback before, Josh Rosen, but I think this one was like, I knew the quarterback class was bad that year, but I thought Desmond had a lot of the skills that like the other guys didn't. Like he had the 3-tiered throws, whether it's the deep ball, the feathered touch ball, as well as the nice little dart, down the middle. He's a good
athlete too, and he's got like a pro body. Like he's 6'3" or something.
Yeah, so I think he's destined to probably be a career backup, which honestly would is probably one of the coolest jobs in all of sports. Like you're a quarterback in the NFL, and you don't have to get hit all the time. That's pretty tight, and you make millions of dollars, also pretty tight. But I don't know that I think I'm out on him being a successful starter in this league. And yeah, like I said, again, it took me a little bit longer than most people to get there, but at this point he's played a full season almost of of football, being that he didn't start week 1 last year, and I'm ready to just make that decision. That being said, the Bucs I think just have a more complete team. They have a better quarterback. I think the coaching question mark is probably a coin flip between the two, between Todd Bowles and Arthur Smith. I don't necessarily think either of them is like exceptional at their job just yet. They haven't shown me that. So we'll go with the home team. We'll go with the better quarterback and the Bucs.
Yeah, I have to agree with you here. I love Bijan. I think Bijan will probably be the best offensive athlete on that field this week. No questions asked.
Real question about Bijan. At what point does he get a Dijon mustard sponsorship? Like the Bijan Dijon, put it on all your Franks. Like that's got to happen at some point, no?
Dijon's too classy of a company.
Is it a company or a type of mustard?
Isn't it? There's like the Grey Poupon mustard. Yeah, it is. But like Grey Poupon is like the.
So it's like the Kleenex. Like, can I have a Kleenex?
I'm
like,
pretty
well, this
sure.
is actually a facial tissue. So, can I get a Q-tip? Do you mean a cotton swab?
Corey, I love the idea. I think somebody needs to capitalize on that.
The Bijan Dijon, dude.
Yeah,
make it happen.
I mean,
either that or
obviously it is a style.
To come up with a sandwich that has like Dijon mustard on it, and then just sponsor him. Like, hey, the Bijan Dijon meal.
The Bijan Dijon bratwurst sandwich. Atlanta, what are you doing? What are you doing if this isn't happening now?
They're obviously missing the boat. With that being said, I'm going to hop on the old boat, that boat being a pirate ship. I got the Buccaneers this week handling things at home against the Falcons. I do think Bijan Robinson has a good day. I just don't think it's enough. So moving on.
Bobby, you're just crushing the segues tonight. Expert podcasting, hopping on the boat, going with the Buck. You're just doing a great job.
It's so phenomenal to watch.
It's got to be the hair.
You are watching a master at work.
Massive fake tits, nice.
It's never not funny. It's never not funny.
I just felt like it was due. Somebody else that I guess I feel is due this season, Jimmy Garoppolo. He's got to turn it on at some point, right? I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that from a hospital bed though. So
Is that where he's at?
well, they took him to the hospital last week after his
His back injury. Yeah, damn. Dude.
I don't know the extent of it. He didn't practice today, from what I read. We got the Las Vegas Raiders headed north to Chicago to take on Rob Meter's Bears, who are minus Justin Fields this week. So this is going to be a interesting game to watch, to say the least. I don't even know where to begin with this one, guys.
I mean, I'll
take it. Or
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
You're at the same time.
I'm taking the Raiders.
Me too.
I just, here's the thing. You have Brian Hoyer as the backup in Las Vegas, and that isn't impressive by any means, but Brian Hoyer could come in for a game or two and get it done. Obviously he's been in the McDaniels system for the better part of his career. Also, they actually have like weapons on offense that they can utilize. The Bears defense is very bad. Very, very bad. Now, I don't know who this quarterback is going to be. I've also heard that Peterman could play as well. I don't really know what's going to be going on. That doesn't necessarily inspire a lot of confidence in me if I'm Chicago. Listen, man, their only win was kind of a fluke Thursday night game where they just kind of blew the doors off the Commanders. This is kind of a pick your poison of these two teams, but I did see that. Throw that back up there. His dad is like just
not
a
to
character.
cover your face, but I was trying to answer Tez's question as well. Tez, the Bears' backup is Tyson Badgett. So
he's a rookie who actually is the reason that the Browns even had PJ Walker to play this past week, because they signed him for $2 million in the offseason. They're like, we like this guy. So there's that. But so thanks, Mr. Badgett, or whatever your name is. I don't know. I just can't see a guy with that name winning an NFL football game. I just refuse to believe that it will happen.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you guys. I don't like either situation, but in this situation, I'm going to take the experience over the youth, and I'm going to take Brian Hoyer, who's been here and he's done it. He's won football games. He knows how to get it done, and he's actually got some weapons around him to make something happen. So Todd also agrees. He says Tyson Badgett, D2 phenom, gets his shot to start in the NFL, first time ever for the QB position, D2 to NFL starter, which that's a cool fact. Going to be a real shit show of a football game. Last comment on that. So I don't think anybody here is going to disagree with you. If you don't have anybody playing in that game fantasy wise, I don't think anybody's going to tune in for it.
It's not just Brian Hoyer. This is number 2 all time in wins in the last 2 years or last 10 years for the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Brian Hoyer. Okay. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Number 2 in the last 10 years. It's Baker and then it's Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of the Cleveland Browns, they're up next on the slate.
I don't know.
What a win for them last week. What a probably the second biggest shock of the week. You know what? I take that back. I think this is the first. No, this is the second for me. I think the Jets beating the Eagles was number 1. Cleveland beating the 49ers was definitely
splitting hairs. They're both extremely surprising.
Yeah, he's 4th, dude.
No, I just looked it up on since when?
99?
No, I said in the last 10 years.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, 4th since 2000. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Browns Colts. So this game is in Indianapolis. Aaron, are you making the trip for that game?
To Indianapolis? Dude, I barely go downtown when they play.
Look at the basement he's in.
Yeah, dude, look at this. The Browns are 3-0 when I sit right there. Right there.
And
I went to Maine and they lost.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking?
Am I drinking?
When they win?
I don't pay attention to the drink. The drink isn't important.
Okay. It's about. Do you have any other superstitions like what you're wearing or?
I swear I am like not superstitious at all. But like then when this stuff happens,
but they win.
So
when
like literally
right there.
Like one of my best friends, Mike Conley's birthday is Sunday, so I'm like gonna go to my friend Chris's house and watch the game. And I like literally was like, I don't know, guys, if they lose, I am never leaving my house again. So just saying, I'm gonna throw that out there for if this ends up.
Should we fade the street, Corey? He's not going to be his house.
Ooh.
I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, so here's what's going on in Cleveland right now, guys.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know what's going on. That's
Is
Here's
Deshaun
what's
playing?
going on? I have no idea.
I don't think he's going to. No. So listen, I get it. If it's a
Man,
shit
that
like
$230 million looking real good right now.
if he's hurt though, he's hurt, dude. Like people,
Yeah,
people
if
that
he's
get
hurt.
paid a lot of money get hurt. Like
I understand.
Joe Burrow hasn't looked great since he's got his contract because he's been hurt. Like I'm not going to say that means he shouldn't have been paid.
So he's been out on the field.
That is
Yeah,
different.
yeah, no, you're right. Like, don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. I am very frustrated by it. If I am the Browns, I am calling Minnesota. And I want to know what's going on with Kirk. And the
What?
reason for listen, hear me out. I don't have time for this. Kirk is on a 1-year deal that's basically worth about $8 million because everything else is owed by the Vikings through signing bonus, and everything after this is void years. So the only thing that the team that absorbs Kirk Cousins is responsible for are game checks. So that would be about $8 million left in the season ish worth of game checks. I looked this up before because I was curious what that would look like. We have tons of cap space. That's not a problem. I already wasted a season last year with Deshaun not being able to play here. This team is contractually designed to be built and win now. And this is a defense that is playing better than the 85 Bears and the 2000s Ravens. Okay, statistically, in a time where it's a lot easier for offenses to succeed. I can't throw the season away. I'm not willing to do it. And if you're not going to be out here to play, I'm sorry, but then guess what, bud? We got to shut it down. We got to shut it down and get healthy. Because here's the thing: you're going to be the quarterback next year. There's no way you can't be. The investment is way too rich. But I am at the very least picking up the phone and asking Minnesota what they want for him, because the only other team that really is probably kicking the tires is the Jets, who might be thinking, hey, maybe we'll get Rodgers back in week 13
Raiders.
somehow. Yeah, but I don't even that. Like most teams this year are.
That's interesting.
There's such a great quarterback class in this year that it really doesn't make sense for a middling team to be like, well, let's see if we can make the playoffs. The Browns have a good enough defense to win. That's a Super Bowl winning defense, in my opinion. Like it's that good. Now, does that mean that I think that they're going to? No, of course not. But it is of the caliber of defenses that we see that can contend for the Super Bowl. That's my long cul-de-sac way of saying, yeah, I think the Browns are going to win this week regardless. You saw PJ Walker come in last week and they beat the 49ers, but the NFL is weird, man. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to come in and blow the doors off of the Colts, but guys, this defense is playing elite levels. The only two teams that statistically are playing better were a team from 1970 and 1979. And again, as I have said, it is harder to play defense now than it's ever been. So to me, it's almost more impressive than even what the stats are showing. Again, we're only through 6 games here for the Browns, but it passes the eye test, guys. I know you guys have seen the games too. That defense is just playing ridiculous. Shout out to Amari Cooper for what he did last week as well.
When you got Myles Garrett crossing up at the line of scrimmage and going after the quarterback, it's another level of confidence. Yeah, I'm going to stick with you, man. I like the Browns defense more than I like the Colts offense, especially with Gardner Minshew under there. He did not look good last week, and they played a much, much, much worse defense. So I think the Browns absolutely eat the Colts alive this week, and this game shouldn't be close. It really shouldn't. This game shouldn't.
It will
be competitive.
It'll be close. It'll be competitive.
It'll be close.
It shouldn't, but it probably will.
The Browns somehow, I believe, are like -8 in turnover differential, and it's not even really the defense's fault. Like, I am waiting. I feel like the Browns defense is due for a touchdown, though. I think this could be the game that we see it.
Anytime touchdown for the Cleveland Browns defense this week?
I wouldn't hate that.
I like a Gardner Minshew over on interceptions.
Hell
I
yeah.
like that too.
Todd is also taking the Browns this week, saying it could be a battle of backups if Deshaun does not play. Cleveland's defense is stout, which will continue to win them games. So pretty much par for the course. Everybody in the chat, Josh, Tez, Pops, you guys all got the Browns. Corey, you're the last one.
You said everything I was going to say. Cleveland.
Cool.
You guys have any, before we move on, any thoughts on what I said with Kirk?
On Kirk, I mean,
It's really interesting. I never would have thought Cleveland.
yeah,
if this is going to be a lingering thing, Because if it's one more game, he should have been on IR.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Just a
3 weeks.
fucking lingerer, man.
And it's like the opposite
sound
of
like
what happened with,
Macho
like, here's the
Man.
thing. Baker had kind of a similar injury. It just wasn't his throwing arm. And here's my problem with Cleveland fans, man. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. We were pissed off for Baker pushing through and playing through an injury and sucking.
yeah.
And now we're mad at the quarterback for not going. Like, if the dude can't throw the ball,
Well,
like,
Baker costs a little less than Deshaun.
I don't care about the cost. It's
but
can you physically throw a football?
Agreed. That is true. Yeah,
Deshaun Watson has played through a torn ACL. Like, he's played through injuries before. I actually, of all the things I will question Deshaun for, his toughness actually will not be one of them. But my point is if you physically can't throw a football, I can't sit around and wait for you. Like, this team is built to win now. And I don't want to lose the locker room by going, well, I don't know, guys. He's feeling okay. Just fucking shut him down. Let's get Kirk. Let's bring him in. Let's go for it.
Yeah. So what are you offering?
Probably like a third rounder. I don't think the market is going to dictate him getting more than that. Because if you're the Vikings,
they're not keeping him after the season anyway.
No, they've been like the GM. So here's the thing: Kirk obviously can play Stefanski's system coming from Minnesota. The assistant the GM for the Vikings was our old assistant GM. He was like Andrew Barry, our GM, was his mentor. Like, there is a connection there. Now, I'm not saying he's just going to let him go to Cleveland for nothing, but like there are some tea leaves there and some breadcrumbs. And let me
play this game. Let me play this game with you.
Okay.
It's just, how far will you go for Kirk? So the Cleveland offers a third. They say, all right, let us think about it. And they call, let's say, New York or Las Vegas, or the list goes on, right? Or Arizona or whatever, right? And
Murray's practicing.
They say, we'll give you a second. Would you match? Second round pick.
Probably not. No.
You're out on it. You're out after a third.
I'd start with
the most
fifth.
I don't think they hang up the phone and probably unhook it at offering a fifth.
So here's the thing with Kirk, because everything.
Not only are they giving you a quarterback, they're giving you a shot at the Super Bowl.
Okay, but here's from Minnesota's perspective. You don't want to win games right now. You've already put yourself in such a hole that being in the middle of the pack.
They've proven that they can lose with Kirk, though. They've proven that.
Well, right. I understand that, but most times when you lose a guy like Kirk Cousins, you're going to get a comp pick back. But because of all the void years at the end of his contract, you're not going to. You already are out Jefferson. Now, don't get me wrong. Are they going to do it for a fifth? No. That's where I start the conversation, though. Because the other thing, too, is there really isn't many people that are competing for his services. Yeah, the Jets, of course, come to mind. But again, if there's this sliver of hope that Rodgers somehow can return this year, I don't think they do that.
I think he's coming back. I don't think there's any question that Rodgers.
Isn't that just fucking amazing?
Rodgers will play football before the end of the regular season.
And again, I'm not hearing this reported anywhere. I'm just like, I was sitting here today seeing these reports going, why are we let's go get somebody.
That was like kind of what I was like thinking. I was just like, man, I haven't heard anybody say this,
Nope.
but this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. I just
Clip it.
I guess you just don't really think Cleveland because of the massive contract that they have tied into, and you're going to get like a above average starter.
We have like 40 million in cap space, which we're waiting to roll over for next year, which I get why, because of all the contracts that are going to be coming due. But again, you're basically getting Kirk for game checks. Like he actually isn't owed a lot for whoever wants to trade for him, which is what makes it really interesting, because most times when you're trading for a quarterback, you have to absorb so much in years in the future because of all the void years that they put on his contract after the restructure. That's basically like most of his money was given to him by the Vikings in a signing bonus.
Yeah.
So it's like a half year rental at this point.
That is an interesting take, my friend. Well, let's swing things over to one of his former teams, the good old Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders are headed to New York to take on the Giants. This is going to be another excellent game, guys. Looking forward to watching this.
You know what? I actually am looking forward to this. I've found bliss. I have found bliss amongst the shitty games this year. And I'll be honest with you, man. The Giants defense played good on Sunday Night Football.
Thank you. I was going to, yeah.
They looked good. The reason they lost is Brian Daboll. That's why the Giants lost that game. 100,000,000%. There's only one reason that they lost, and it's Brian Daboll.
You don't think Tyrod's at all involved in that?
I think, yeah, absolutely. But he put him in a position to fail. If you call a play with a check, you put the quarterback in a position to be able to call a check. And that's what Tyrod did. So for those of you that maybe you're like, I'm not watching this fucking game, get it. At the end of the first half, then the Giants and Bills game,
passed out.
The Giants were on the 2-yard line going in with about, I don't know,
12 seconds.
12 seconds. They throw a play. They run a play. They don't get in. They're running up to the line. Time is ticking down. Or no, I'm sorry. Clock was stopped. They go up to the line. Tyrod checks at the line, ends up handing the ball off to Saquon. He gets stuffed. Clock runs out. Giants get nothing from this exchange. Daboll is losing his shit on the sideline. What happened is Tyrod Taylor was given a play that had the option to check to a run. He got up to the line, saw what he saw, and decided that this would be better. We have the men. Let's run it. Let's check this to a run, and let's get in the end zone. If you wanted to throw the ball, you don't call a play that tells your quarterback to check to something if he sees it. Yeah, you could say, and I think Chris Collinsworth made the point, and I agree with the point, that Tyrod should have not just known. This guy just came off the fucking bench. He's in his first start of the season, and you're you're expecting him to just be in midseason form. People have mental errors. Yes,
right.
Should some blame be there? But who's ultimately responsible for the play that goes into the quarterback's ear?
I'd feel a little bit differently if Tyrod was like a first or second year guy, but the guy started over 50 games. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it isn't Daboll's fault. Like I hear you 100%, but I view that mostly on Tyrod, because I don't know what was happening in the, like, for all I know, that's just the play comes with a check. And I mean,
maybe it was one of those things where Daboll didn't think he had to say it.
Right, where he's like, you
mean?
don't fucking
like,
check this. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I 100% agree. Nonetheless, the Giants defense played fantastic. And Sam Howell is super scrappy for the Commanders. I just think this has the trappings of a really fun, shitty game, if that makes any sense. Like I just see like, like, oh shit. Like, and I think it's going to come down to the wire. Like these guys are going to be going after it.
Do it.
Is Tyrod playing?
We don't know yet. If I had to guess, probably, but it hasn't.
Let me check ESPN and see if he's projected for any.
There's no reason the Giants should win this game. There's no reason. There's no reason that the Giants should win this game. Shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
Tyrod Taylor is projected for 0 points, so he is not playing.
I somehow feel less confident in the Giants with Daniel Jones there.
I agree.
I'm going to go with Commanders.
All right, let me get Todd's picks pulled back up here real quick. You guys, can you get to Tez's comment real quick while I get Todd's picks pulled back up?
Yeah, Tez coming in with a comment, says, you know what? There have been plenty of situations where QBs have had the same option to check and did, and the ball was scored. If it works, great. The OC should not have given the option if he didn't want to run it. I tend to agree with what Tez is saying here. If that ball goes in, they're like, wow,
no one's
way to trust your best player, put it in Saquon's hands, and you score a touch. Absolutely. You know what I would have done? Called a play, one of two things. Called a play with only passing as the option to run, or kick the field goal.
There certainly was enough time to run a pass.
100%.
100%. Like, that's no problem.
see nothing, throw it out of the back. Okay, we tried out, take 3, go to halftime.
You honestly, that's a play where
And then the Giants win that game.
I run, like, if I'm calling that play, I'm calling my best one read play. What play am I confident in that somebody can
Look at
win
it.
a
It's
matchup?
not there.
If
throw
it's
it
not
away.
there, it's throw it through the uprights because
Yeah.
that's where it's going next.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
100%. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, Aaron, do we have your pick already?
No. So, and again, this is kind of a, this is a coin flip game for me for sure. The Commanders actually have played better than I thought. I don't know if I can live in a world though where through 7 games they have a winning record, because I don't think they're a good team. Like, I don't think the Commanders are a good team at all. I took their season high under at 6.5, so I'm kind of just praying here. I'm taking the Giants, and part of the reason is I agree with you. Like, if Tyrod's playing, I actually like the Giants better. I thought their defense played pretty sneaky good last week as well.
Yeah.
Was it the Giants defense finally showing up, or is it just the Bills just always play to the level of their opponent? I'm not really sure, because that's certainly something I've been calling out for all year. Go ahead.
You've been very accurate in that. And also, Josh Allen played terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen played terrible. I was saying in our group chat consistently, I was like, Josh Allen's shit. Fuck Josh Allen. I didn't mean it, but kinda.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Giants here. It's a division game. You got the Giants at home. Like you said, it can just be a weird game. Commanders have, again, they've sneakily played some pretty good games, but again, their wins are against the Cardinals, the Broncos, the Bears, the Cardinals, the Broncos, and they did beat the Falcons last week in pretty impressive fashion. Corey, I agree with you about Sam Howell, though. He has been so fun to watch. I'm really happy for him. He basically has bought himself about 8 years of backup play. He's not, I understand that he could be like the 29th best starting quarterback. That's fine. But he is going to be like so sought after for a team, like, trying to think of a good example, but a team that's got a honestly, like, dude, would the Dolphins not make a ton of sense when you have
the
like
Bengals?
The Bengals, sure, like a team that has playoff aspirations, but maybe somebody at quarterback who's you're a little nervous about injury wise. I think Sam Howell is going to maybe be one of the most sought after backup quarterbacks in a free agent market that we've seen in a long time.
Hey, what about
he's going to be a really good insurance card. See, for Richardson, I could see that. I like that. But here's the other thing: is I've also always thought Minshew was this guy too. Like, Minshew to me is a really good.
Yeah, but I don't know what his contract looks like. I would imagine it's only 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, the Colts aren't good enough though, so it doesn't really jive with it. Like when he was on the Eagles, like that was like, oh yeah.
I'm with you, but no, I like that.
Todd's pick, Sam Howell continues to get better and better every week. Make sure you pick up Washington's D in fantasy if you're scrambling this week on buys.
But I did pick up Sam Howell.
Me too. I actually put a waiver in on him.
Me too, dude.
I was like 8th, so I was like, I need him because I had Fields. Fields is going to be down, and I had Richardson. So it's like,
yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, scrambling. I'm gonna go with the wave here. I took the Command. I think I was the only one that took the Commanders last week, at least for us, to beat the Falcons. They pulled it out. I really like the kind of football they're playing. The Giants just, I need to see them actually put 4 quarters together and not make mistakes. They continue to shoot themselves in the foot again and again and again.
Listen, Bobby, you called this out. You said Brian Daboll, first coach to get fired.
No way, really?
I'm just saying, how long? How long do you go before you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Guys, he won Coach of the Year last year. Let's chill out.
I know.
No, it's not happening. It's not even on the table.
1 in 16.
All right, here we go. Unsolicited. If Brian Daboll is the first coach fired, I will do the podcast with my shirt off for the rest of the year.
How about if he gets fired?
No.
He has to be the first coach fired.
First coach fired.
Okay. I'm not even talking about first coach fired. I'm just talking about he could get fired this year.
He really could.
On merit alone.
In my heart, This is going to sound stupid, and I don't know that I really believe this. I think the odds are better for Bill Belichick to be fired this year before Brian Daboll. I know. Wow. I know what I just said.
Wow.
I don't know if that's your best take, but
6 Super Bowls versus 0 playoff wins.
Dude,
superstar versus half a star.
You owe him that contract regardless, right?
Yeah,
as a coach,
Brian
you're
Daboll?
not firing the guy. You're not firing the guy who just won Coach of the Year. You're not doing it. Next year, if it looks like this again, maybe fine. But I'm sorry, I don't blame Brian Daboll for what's going on. I blame the front office for paying Daniel Jones, for dragging their feet on Saquon. Like, what are we doing here, guys?
They're paying the worst of the roster. Like, one, in my opinion, at least, you don't pay a running back that a big time money. You just don't do it.
I don't think they paid big time money for Saquon.
You paid top market. Top market.
Okay. I'm putting a caveat on my thing too, though. It does not cash if for like Brian Daboll
kill somebody. Or something.
He hits someone with a bus or something. Like, if it's not for football reasons, that doesn't count. If we find out he has like an estranged wife.
Yeah, but what if they're like, oh, for health reasons, he's stepping down for the rest of like the Urban Meyer shit?
There's no caveats. If he's the first one out, doesn't matter how he goes out. It didn't matter that the Cowboys played like shit. I'm still.
Are we all going to be naked? Are we all going to be naked by the end of this?
I thought we're playing like no one's asking strip poker.
Yeah.
Like, I fold. And you're like, please don't.
All right, Aaron, you are a lone wolf. That includes
a lone wolf for the New York Giants. Let's go.
That includes chat and the panel here. All right. Next game on the slate. Katie coming in with a comment. Go Lions. They are the next game on the slate. So we've got the Lions on the road taking things to Baltimore.
This is game.
This
of the
is
week,
gonna be a
guys.
good game.
This is game of the week.
Yeah.
We also have like, is this not like the perfect hero villain story for us as a podcast?
Yes.
We love the Lions. When they win, it doesn't affect us very much ever. You know, the only time we would see them is in the Super Bowl, or if they happen to be playing your team that week. So it rarely ever happens where it matters. And it's against our least favorite team collectively on this podcast because nobody here is a Ravens fan. So
it might be my least favorite team in the division, to be honest with you, the Ravens.
Yeah, I go back and forth with them and the Steelers.
Yeah, I do too. Bobby, it's
fair. I'm not.
You have 6. So fuck you is kind of where I lie on that one.
Yeah, and then the Ravens won a championship with like our drafted roster, so like I fucking hate them.
Yep, I get it. I get it.
Absolutely. Well, let's let Todd lead this one off here.
Hurts a lot, actually.
Detroit's offense seems to be too tough to slow down. Detroit comes out with a strong game plan, forces Lamar to make quick decisions, which scares me. So. Todd is not trusting Lamar Jackson, obviously against that Detroit defense, which has been playing some pretty solid football. Obviously they're 5-1. It's their best start since 2011, I believe I read today. So they are on absolute fire, playing some great football. No David Montgomery this week. It looks like Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get the start. So I know there's some fantasy owners that have been holding on to Jahmyr Gibbs, hoping. I am one of those people. So I'm also hoping that Jahmyr Gibbs finally can do something if he gets the majority of the touches, which it seems to be working out that way this week. But Todd's got the Lions. Looks like Josh and Pops both have the Lions as well. This is a complete homer pick in the fact that I just don't want to see the Ravens win. I do like the Lions offense much more than I like the Ravens offense. But that Ravens defense has looked good over the last couple of weeks. So that we'll see if they can slow down this pretty high-powered offense. You know, obviously Dave Montgomery has been, I think, a majority of the glue to that offense. You know, getting that running game established early. He gets in the end zone often. He just sets the tone each time they come out on the field. And this is going to be the first week where they don't have him to start that game. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can come out with some pace and get up on the Ravens early. So I still like the Lions in this one, but I think this is going to be a very, very close game and probably the best game of the week. Aaron.
Yeah, I hope it's the best game of the week, man. I like this one is on paper should be absolutely electric. The Ravens have kind of quietly put up some stinkers here, guys. Their record isn't necessarily reflecting it so much, but that loss to the Steelers was pretty bad. I mean,
it was rough.
That Titans game probably wasn't as close as the score is showing. But for the fact that it was still, even 24-16,
they let him back in.
They let him back in it, right? Like Lamar just like there are moments where you see him and you're like, oh wow, that's he's back in MVP form. He's doing it all. He's a really, really good quarterback. And then he has these moments where and listen, here's the thing. In that Pittsburgh game, those receivers did not, was it like 7 drops or something like that? But it's hard to discount that because I don't think that just gets corrected, week over week. Mark Andrews is still, an electric tight end. If I'm smart, I fade you guys here because there's a very, very realistic chance that the Ravens walk away with this game. Winner, stay right there up on top of the division, keep moving along, move to 5-2. But guys, this Lions team is just playing electric, inspired football right now. I think they're all bought in. Jared Goff has been playing some of the best football of any quarterback, not NFC, not any quarterback in the league. I've been very, very impressed with it. Not to mention, the Lions have been pretty depleted on that defense, and they're still stepping up. It is that next man up mentality there, and you can tell. A lot of times I was cynical. I'm a little bit cynical as a person. If you haven't met me before, when I first saw Dan Campbell do his shtick, I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And I gotta say, guys, it is a little bit inspiring. It's like you can tell that team is bought in on this guy. And I'm gonna just hope that the Lions just keep rolling here, and I'm gonna take them.
All right, Corey.
Yeah, going on the road.
Great question, Tez.
Going on the road, never an easy test, especially in Baltimore, where the fans are, putting Old Bay in Zima and drinking Steel Reserves. And
I just want Corey to stare at this comment for a little bit.
I don't know who he's addressing.
It's Corey with an E. But
he's talking about me. Sorry, Tez. I mean, it's just right there.
Corey had to get a shot at it.
No, I don't. I don't think so. I also don't think Brett Favre is better than Desmond Ridder right now either. So, but
what?
So, I'm just saying the frame of reference in the time that you ask the questions matter. So this year, no, I don't think that.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah. Where was? Oh, I was talking about the people of Baltimore. They're going to be fired up. Steel Reserves, crystal meth, crab cakes. All of those things together makes that Baltimore crowd.
Meth and crab cakes.
Dude, that's what they do, man. That's what they do over there. Over in that trash hole of a city, cheering on their rat birds. They're tough though. The Ravens are. If Lamar's on, they're very, very, very hard to stop on offense. Very much so. And at some point, I do feel like this depleted secondary is going to catch up. I really feel like this is going to catch up on the Lions. Like, this isn't sustainable. But it's not this week. We got Jared Goff playing at a point where they're thinking they're going to fucking re-sign this guy. They're going to re-sign Jared Goff, maybe even this season, give him a contract extension. That's how well he's playing. It's insane. Sam Laporta is probably playing better than any tight end that has been drafted in the last 2 years at this point. It's insane.
Yeah.
Right? They've got the offensive line in full swing. Craig Reynolds stepping up as a running back this week. Who the fuck is that? I don't know, but he's playing ball. He's actually the most tenured running back on this roster right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown seems to catch fucking everything. Josh Reynolds, maybe one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. Maybe. This dude is a beast. And I'm riding the MCDC train as the Detroit Lions move to fucking 6-1. Insane. Absolutely insane. I'm pumped up. I love it. Love it. The Bengals of the NFC. Let's go.
All right. Well, let's get over to another fun matchup here. This is a matchup that I know our Bills Mafia is gonna love this week. You've got the Buffalo Bills headed to New England, Foxborough, take on the Patriots.
Quick work of this one.
Yeah, everybody got the Bills.
Yeah, I got
Hell
the
yeah.
Bills, but I think they suck, dude.
I don't think they suck. I really do think they are pretenders though.
100%, dude. They are 100% pretenders. And I'm not ready to say fraudulent enemy number one.
No.
That's still the Cowboys.
They would have to be two.
They are number two, in my opinion. They're right behind the Cowboys in terms of like where people consider them to be at and where I think they actually are.
I mean, frankly, don't we have to call it the Chargers?
No, they are who we thought they were.
That's true. I finally got off the Chargers this year. though. I finally got off the Chargers this year.
And we're not letting them off the hook.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, guys.
I'm going in on those motherfuckers.
Does anyone know what the spread is in this game, though?
It's got to be like
I haven't
7,
looked
8.
at it.
I can find it real quick. I just
While we're doing that, Josh Allen is the best punter on the Bills by far.
8.5. 8.5 isn't.
8.5
By
spread.
far.
Yeah, that seems about right. Todd's comments on this game: Patriots are terrible. The end.
Period.
So, yeah, I mean, if Josh Allen can't make quick work in New England this week, I have some very, very negative thoughts towards the rest of their season. So,
Just run the football.
This does seem like a game, though, that
it seems like a game they could lose.
no. Well, sure, of course it is, because like it's
It's
the
the
National
NFL,
Football League.
yeah.
Like, nobody thought the Jets were going to win last week. Nobody thought the Browns were going to win last week. Like it happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
This to me though does seem like a
Cowboys.
game that the Bills just like kind of get right. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, even if they win 48-3, I'm not gonna be like Bills are back. I'm gonna be like, there's literally nothing they can do this week that's gonna make me be like, all right, cool, Bills are back.
Yeah.
I need to see this consistently
Against
over like
a good
3-game
team.
stretch.
Against
Right? They
a
got
good team.
They got the Bengals coming up in what 2-3 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah, so it's Patriots, Bucks, and then Bengals.
Yeah.
November 5th. That
Thursday
to me
night
is-
football in the jungle.
That will be the test because we've known that the Bengals have had the Bills go. So just win this game. They're gonna blow the doors off this game.
Yeah, I would hammer that 8.5. I think that's a decent line there. Is that I'm assuming that's like negative like
I just
150.
don't touch
I
it,
don't know.
man. I'm not touching a line like that.
Yeah,
I'm
I would
just-
tease it down, but I'm not like
I don't know.
Just-
They've got to like to restore the faith in that passionate fan base up there. They've got to fucking just knock the socks off.
the fan base still thinks
Yeah,
they're Super Bowl contenders.
they're not.
Well,
I like Ted said it, like they're not a dominating team.
They're not.
Yeah.
Not at all.
no, I completely agree. And
Now they have enough season left to change that script. I still think they have guys on this like
They beat
Do they
Miami.
have a
Let's
Super
not
Bowl-
Forget that.
yeah. I mean, they still have a Super Bowl caliber roster, in my opinion. Like
Yeah, I don't know what
losing
it
Matt
is.
Milano was not good for them though.
No, you're right.
no.
It's the heart of that
No.
defense.
That's
No,
a
they have an undersized
that's
defense,
a tough
too.
loss. Tough loss. All right. Well, let's move forward here. We've got another exciting matchup, guys. We've got the Arizona Cardinals headed up to Seattle to take on the best coach in the league, Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. So I say that with just the most sarcasm on the planet, chat. If you don't know me by now, Corey, Cardinals on the road, Seattle. You got
Scrappy Cardinals team against pretty complete team in Seattle. They came out guns a-blazing against the Bengals on Sunday. Opening drive right down the field. Kenneth Walker punching it in for a touchdown, but then kind of got shut down by the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense really had a good answer for them going forward, being that they only put up, I think, 6 more points for the rest of the game, if I'm not mistaken. So I look for them to get right here. Kind of Arizona is the day of sobriety for some NFL teams, it seems, and other than the Cowboys, as Bobby's nipples would indicate right now. But I think outside of that, this is an opportunity for Seattle to right the ship, get back on the winning track, and I think they do that here. I think Geno played just fine. I just think the Bengals defense has really become what we thought they were going to be from the beginning of the season. That over the last couple of games, they've really stood up.
Just took them a few weeks to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they still allowed him to throw, 326 to the air. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I thought that what the Bengals...
They gave up chunk plays. If we're talking about the Bengals right now, we can do that. But they gave up chunk plays, but they didn't give up points. They had 4 red zone trips and got 3 points out of it.
Well, that's kind of my point. Is if you want to say it was because that's fine. Like, I don't really care.
I mean, one was a turnover,
right? I think my point is that watching that game, and keep in mind it was, like I had it on Red Zone. Of course, it was on the same time as the Browns game. That's the one I'm focusing on, most of my attention. So, Corey, don't read too much into this other than just kind of my fleeting thoughts of the game that I was able to see. I think the Seahawks kind of like blew that game a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, the Bengals made the plays that they needed to, but it wasn't like they were that impressive on offense. Like Burrow,
they weren't.
He was
after
okay,
the first 2 drives. They weren't.
Yeah, like I honestly think like hats off to the Bengals for winning that game, because you got to win ugly a lot of the time. You're going to have 3 wins in a season for a good team that's going to have ugly wins, and there's nothing wrong with that because they count all the same. But I think the Seahawks blew that game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put the ball in the end zone.
100%.
Yeah, Tez coming in the comments saying, "I'll tell you what, I actually enjoy watching
defense,
Dobbs. He's kind of exciting. He missed a few throws, but the guy isn't bad."
But my takeaway from the Seahawks in general on this, just kind of getting back to Geno here and the Seahawks before going on to the Bengals, like Geno didn't make bad throws. He didn't make bad plays. It wasn't anything like that. I honestly think the shortcomings for their offense in the second half and most of the game, other than outside of the first drive, to be honest with you, the shortcomings, there's just nothing there. There was nothing there to be had. And when
Metcalf's always a bonehead.
Well, yeah, he's a fucking idiot. He's absolutely idiot. But he had a couple of chunk plays. Tyler Lockett had a chunk play. But I mean, outside of that, every throw is contested. Cam Taylor-Britt breaking up passes, leaping for interceptions. Not to mention the fact that they absolutely harassed Geno Smith from the defensive line perspective on a regular basis. Like, he was getting hit every third drop back. He was getting hit. So, yes, while I agree the Bengals offense didn't do enough to win the game, sometimes it's complementary football and that the defense has to pick up the offense. And I think that's what they did, rather than the Seahawks just being inept. It wasn't a matter of ineptitude. It was a matter of they got outplayed, I think, by the defense.
I think the defense played your traditional bend but don't break defense, which is fine. They didn't, but the thing is they created those turnovers. My worry with what happened in that game, and I think it's it is credit to the Bengals, and why I'm not super worried about the Seahawks is they were moving the ball with ease between the 20s. It was when they got into the red zone, it seemed like they fumbled on themselves. I guess intercepted on themselves is really what I should say. But I'm not super worried about them. This is also like a 7-point spread. Like, this is the Seahawks all day for sure. I like the Seahawks in general. They're to me like a sneaky wild card team. And again,
still
Corey,
top 4 in the NFC, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a game I haven't seen from Geno since he had a Jets jersey on. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I would credit a lot of that to the pass rush, like Tess is saying.
Yeah.
That pass rush from the Bengals was unbelievable.
Trey Hendrickson is
Um,
playing possessed this
Yeah,
season.
he looked very good. Aaron, sorry, I didn't quite hear you if you said it. Did you take the Seahawks?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
In Seattle against this is
Todd with an interesting comment here. It says Kyler's in the practice window. So
He
I'm
is.
kind of leaning towards. Just kidding. They lose again, and I'm taking Seattle. Yeah, I'm taking Seattle here. You guys said more than enough. Yeah, I'm taking the better team, and
sorry.
I'm stopping by to see them milk.
There he
duds.
is.
Thanks, Cart.
There he is.
Appreciate
He's
you,
back.
bro.
Well, at least you didn't call them Whoppers.
No, they're not milk duds. They're not Whoppers.
Massive fake tits. Nice.
Well, Ryan, we appreciate you coming by, my man.
Just want to make sure you're alive, man. We've been missing your picks.
We're happy to have you tonight, though.
I don't know why this chair keeps like dropping down. I keep like slowly sinking. I need to get a new chair. I've had this one for like 2 years.
We all kind of are, man, but that's just life. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's move on to a game. I know Taz is going to be interested in this one. I am also interested in this game. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers headed out to the West Coast to take on the Rams.
This is a good game.
I agree.
Yeah, I am. This is a game I literally been thinking about all day of what I'm going to say tonight because I truly don't know. I really like what I've seen out of the Steelers defense. I think they've stepped up and shut down some really good offenses. The Rams are obviously down to their third string running back now.
Sure. I don't think we talk a lot about running backs because I know it's fantasy relevant, but it never changes my decision on the week to week.
Steelers haven't been very good against the run either, so that's kind of why I bring up the running back position. They have been run over quite a bit this season. So
Steelers are currently the 30th ranked defense in the league.
Statistically?
Yep.
Jesus.
Yep.
They've had
against the pass, they're the 25th ranked defense, and against the rush, the Steelers, this is according to Fox, are the 29th.
The Steelers have quietly had some bad cornerback play for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's because we got rid of all the good ones.
Yeah, one's in Cincinnati, one's in Detroit.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers have had the benefit of
TJ Watt
scored a lot of touchdowns on defense.
Yeah.
Those have bailed them out a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. I think
it just doesn't seem sustainable.
The pass rush from Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt, especially with Cam Hayward going out, has not helped this defense in any way, shape, or form. And those two guys are just trying to do whatever they can to hang on to it while this Steelers offense sucks. It's slow. They always come out flat. Matt Canada always calls plays that are predictable. I don't understand why he has not been let go yet.
How do we feel about the young crop coming in? I'm just going to propose a question here.
Sure.
That this isn't the question, but how do we feel about recent draft picks for Pittsburgh? What is the last one that you've been like, yes?
I know one.
I mean, George Pickens is really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, but coming in, you weren't like, oh my God, we're getting George Pickens. You know what I mean? Like, he's just.
What about where's Joey Porter Jr.
That's what I was going to say. Is Joey?
Where's he been?
I would say he was the most exciting one I can remember in the last few years.
Well, I'm not talking about draft day reactions. I'm talking about since then. You're just like, yes, this dude
nailed it.
Yeah, like this dude is he's the man. He's like Logan Wilson for me is the biggest like draft yes for the Bengals. They got him like the third round, and he's the captain of the defense. Like he is the signal caller. Like he's the shit.
Yeah, and for us, like we got DeJuan Jones in the fourth round.
And he's a stud. He was a top.
insane.
He's also giant.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I mean, since T.J. Watt, Joey Porter Jr. has to be that for me.
Yeah.
And
I,
so my question with this is like, the reason I'm asking that is because I feel like a lot of the things that we're like putting our hats on in terms of like the Steelers defense are old dudes. TJ is not an old dude. Cam is.
yeah, Cam Hayward's been around for a long time.
He's been around for a long time. Hall of Famer,
old's
no
Highsmith?
doubt. It's got to be at least
Highsmith?
35, 32, something like
You talking
that,
about
right?
Cam Hayward or Alex Highsmith?
He was talking about Haywood. I'm asking about Highsmith. I know
I think
Haywood.
he's in his late 20s. Maybe
Yeah, I don't know.
20s.
Football age is so.
You don't have to. I was just curious if you
Football
that's
age
good.
is so hard for me. Like I think guys are
Right.
so much older than they are, even when they're in college. Like that dude looks like he's 37 years old.
Mhm.
He's like
I
he's
still
a
think I'm younger than
sophomore.
Alex Highsmith is 26 years old.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, these dudes are genetic freaks. I guess I was just kind of curious because I don't see the plan. And I'm trying to remove bias here and just talk from a football perspective. And I'm not trying to be a dick or anything like that.
No, I
Like,
agree with you.
like where
It
are
doesn't-
we
I-
going?
Oh, you're talking about for the Steelers in general, not
For the
just
Steelers in general, not this game, just the Steelers in general, because we're kind of at that third of the way through the season. I'm just kind of looking, reading the tea leaves a bit here. Like, we don't feel good about this offense. We're not making changes on the offense, apparently. The defense, while good, is statistically bad. Like, while they have some stars on there, some guys that can absolutely ball, no question, and can change a game at times.
Mm-hmm.
They're statistically a bad defense. So I'm just wondering, I'm like, what's the plan moving forward? Are we just resting on the laurels? Like, Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the league. He's a no doubt Hall of Famer. Like, same with TJ, same with Cam. What are we doing going forward? Are we just like hoping Kenny Pickett is that guy and something changes over the next year?
Yeah, so I'll kind of address it all. So I think the defense is better than what the stats show, and I think the reason for that is the Steelers' offense is just not been great this year.
So they're
And
putting them in bad spots.
They're
Okay.
constantly on the field. They've been put in a lot of terrible situations. I don't think that them ranked 29th is like statistically is a fair assessment for what they're actually capable of and what they put in and week out.
Yeah, Bobby, I will say that those numbers do not pass the eye test.
Yeah. Like when you said that, I was blown away. I had to go look it up myself, and sure as shit, you were right. Like I was just floored when you said 29th. I'm like, there's no way. And it is absolutely true. But yeah, like when you look at that defense on the field, like they are just capable of so much more than what those stats are proving, just because that offense never gets going. Like they're never like switching the side of the field. The defense is like, you saw the one time they came in a good situation, they forced a fumble and returned it for a touchdown. You know what I mean? Last week. So when they're set up for success, they come out and they play well. When they have to play with their backs against the wall, they're still playing well, but obviously they're going to be out on that field. And I would love to see how many snaps the Steelers defense has taken versus the rest of the NFL, because I would bet that they're probably ranked in the top 5 on snaps taken, just because the offense has just been atrocious this year.
That really is a very fair point, Bobby, is because, a defense can only be so good, especially when you have guys like that they make explosive plays. Now, when you're asking them to come out after sitting down for 4 plays, it's a lot to ask. Their time, honestly, what would be the biggest stat to look up is just the difference of time of possession.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because that, I'm sure, is insanely skewed, because Kenny Pickett, again, and I don't know how much of it is his fault as opposed to just, I know everyone in Pittsburgh hates the coordinator. That's fine. But that is really a reflection on Tomlin, because he has the ability to fire him at any moment.
100% agree.
He really does want to. But for whatever reason, you get in these late game situations, and Kenny Pickett actually somehow plays okay. Like, he's had a good
Steelers
amount of game winning.
30th in time of possession.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so they're third. Third worst. So I think that's a perfect reflection of how well their defense has been set up for success this year, and a perfect example of why they're ranked so low statistically. Now, to answer your other question, Corey, as far as what's the plan,
And just for reference, they were 6th in time of possession last year.
and where did they rank statistically last year?
From defense?
Yep.
I can look that
If
up.
you can pull that quickly, but
Yep.
what I was kind of getting at was the plan, where I kind of feel Aaron's pain like this week. Like what the hell are we doing? Like what when are we going to start making some moves to get this team back to a playoff competing team? Perennial, just coming back year after year after year, and being competitive. And I know that kind of sounds selfish because the Steelers have always been an extremely competitive football team, but
It does sound selfish. Just be bad, dude.
it seems like they're right now they're settling for mediocrity on the offensive side of the football. Defense has always been one of their strong suits. I've never been concerned with their defense.
They
But
were
the
13th last year in team defense.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, you obviously see how much time of possession impacts you statistically.
Let's see where they were last year.
I think that's a fair assessment. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Kenny Pickett's a bad quarterback. I think he can be the guy, but I think you need to see Matt Canada trust him a little more, because when Kenny played, you saw the last play against the Ravens where he checked out of a play that Canada called. He threw a 40-yard touchdown to George Pickens, and Matt Canada sitting up in the box just like, that wasn't my play call. Like, he wasn't excited at all. He showed zero emotion. Like, if you're about that team and you're about that team winning, you are excited as hell, regardless of how that ball crosses the end zone. It doesn't matter how it gets there. You're excited. Like,
Can I also just say, like, seeing that video as well, like, I don't like the Steelers at all. Let me just be very clear about that.
Or Canada.
Yeah, right? Puts hands in the tapioca pudding as is tradition. And I seeing that video, like, I hate him now. I hate him, like, for being in the position that he is in. You are one of 32 human beings on earth that has the privilege to be in the position that you are in, and you don't give a fuck at all. That is disgusting to me. It's inexcusable to me. And I know every Steelers fan is up in arms to get this motherfucker out of there. I know that for a fact, but no fan base deserves that. Even those that have done a deal with the devil, such as the Pittsburgh Steelers, they don't deserve it. It's bullshit.
Thank you for your support.
It's fucked up, man. I would be absolutely furious. I couldn't even imagine. It
sucks, man. It sucks. Like, just like,
and here they are with a winning record.
You see your two youngest, like, most productive people on the offensive side of the ball, like, make a play to win you a football game, and you sit there stone faced, like, pissed off that you didn't call that, or pissed off that he checked out of it. Whatever the scenario was, you could have done anything else. Like, all right, right. Like, if you just give me something where you're like, okay, I'm focused, like, I'm happy, but the game's not over. Like, I still got a game plan for the next drive. If it gets there, like, I understand that level of intensity. I am that intense with some things myself, but, like, you still have to show some emotion and be a human and, like, show the fact that you want this team to win. And if he's not gone before the end of this season, I am going to be very, very disappointed.
When's the bye week? Or wait, you just had it.
Yeah, we're on the bye week right now. We had it last week.
Coming off of it.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think you do that to Kenny Pickett either. Personally, I don't think that. I think that's too much to ask. I think that puts him in a position to be unsure about what he's doing, and that could result in him getting hurt.
I like Kenny Pickett's confidence. I think if put back against the wall, I think he could manage play calls on the fly.
What's his ceiling?
Kenny Pickett?
Yeah. Who's his ceiling?
Kirk Cousins.
I think his ceiling is Jared Goff.
Honestly, those are my two picks. So it's very funny that you both said that.
Yeah.
I think Jared Goff is his ceiling. I think he has the ability to, be successful in the right scheme with the right talent around him. And
same with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
those three guys, I think they're all in the same pocket there. With a good defense, they can win you Super Bowl. I think that's kind of what it boils down to. But
I don't think he's there yet. Let me be very clear about that.
No,
I
we're
agree.
saying ceiling, which
Yeah,
means he's
like
not.
the best case scenario, that's you have to have a perfect defense.
yeah, absolutely. Like a defense like Cleveland's.
Yeah,
this year at least. So
far.
Ryan coming in the comment. I love that he's the Steelers OC, but hate that he even got the opportunity to be in that position because there's so many people that could do better. You could get on Madden and ask Madden to have better play calls than him. Yeah, so I agree with that statement. We need picks though, Tez. We need your picks for this game. I pretty much marked you down for the Rams. I don't think you're going with Steelers. Josh is also taking the Rams. Corey, who do you have this week?
Yeah, I mean, based on everything that we've just talked about, the inability to allow the defense to breathe, the effectiveness in which the Rams have been able to move the football this year, I'm going to go with this Rams offense just based on the fact that they're going to be able to outscore the Steelers offense.
Absolutely. Aaron.
Yeah, the Steelers have the ability to just win these games that kind of make your head scratch. The Ravens game being one of them, obviously the Browns game being another one too. They, for whatever reason, don't have the same ability against teams that they're not as familiar with. This does not seem, honestly, this seems like a game to me where I would kind of hammer the Rams spread on this. I know that they're on the bye week. That's fine. But again, like we were just saying earlier, like with the Bucks, it's almost like the bye week came too early, for a team like this where I don't know how beneficial that is other than them coming out a little bit lethargic. I think the Rams have been playing definitely above what we thought that they would be. Now, I'm taking the Rams here, but I also want to outline my game plan real quick of how the Steelers win this game. Is Matt Stafford has a tendency to be a turnover machine. Steelers get a defensive touchdown in this game, which they have a tendency to do. Steelers can win this game for sure.
Also, Rams offensive line, not great. Not great, Bob.
Yeah. No, this is a tough one. I've been thinking about it all day.
That was a Mad Men reference that also applied due to the fact that your name is Bob.
That was well played.
Thank you.
I'm taking the Rams this week. Yeah, I love taking the homer picks. I don't know, man. Like this
Hedge your happiness. Hedge your happiness.
This is a game that they can definitely win. But if anything, I would rather all four of us lose that game and the Steelers win than me pick the Steelers and be wrong. And
smart.
Yeah, I'm not losing this one because the Steelers.
So,
not letting it happen.
So yeah, I'm just trying to think. I've done a good job of getting myself back in it here. In these picks.
Yeah, when you pick last every time, it's good.
Well, like Bobby, I think you took it with me too. But when they beat the Ravens, right? Like that's a game to me that, again, I thought the Ravens are the better team, but the Steelers just always end up being in these games at the end. And that's
if I have to hear, man, this was a classic Ravens Steelers matchup one more fucking time.
Yeah, but Corey, you know this too because the Steelers have been treading above mediocrity for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
they're always above 500. We know that, but they haven't been that like 12-win Steelers.
Like, they're going to win a
that
Super
we've
Bowl
seen in the past.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like the Super Bowl contending team. These are the games that they just get blown out in. Going all the way to the West Coast against a team.
I don't see them getting blown out.
I'm not saying that they're going to get blown out, but one the games that they're competitive in that you don't think that they're going to win, this is not one to me that sticks out.
Here's another. Let me just talk about this because we didn't even talk about this. The Rams defense is good. Like they're playing good football right now.
Yeah.
I feel good about.
Defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald, is on the other side of that ball.
Well, yeah, he's towards the tail end. We don't know. This may be his last year, maybe next year. Oh, absolutely, he's something to be reckoned. Yeah, absolutely. It's not a matter of whether he's got it; it's whether or not he wants to play. Like that's what that boy. Like what else does he have to prove at this point? You know what I mean? Like let's be a Calvin Johnson, be able to pick up your kids, etc. They'll put a statue of him in front of SoFi. As long as the leaseor allows them to do so. But I feel more confident in the Rams defense than I do the Steelers offense at this point. And that's really what it boils down to when it comes down.
Yeah. Carp coming in saying I'm a gross fan. I even took the Steelers. Well, I'm betting with my head, not my heart. So that's
He's
that's
playing the
kinda where-
game. He's
kinda where
playing.
we're at
He's
there.
playing the pick'em game.
So
He doesn't want Todd to overtake him, so he's making stakes again.
funny. Carp wants us to kind of double back onto the running back situation
Not worried about it.
for LA.
I'm not worried about it either. Running backs don't matter that much. They don't.
They
Running
don't.
game.
They do for fantasy. They
matters.
don't.
Running game matters. That's,
Also, I'm looking at their depth chart right now. Like, there's still Royce Freeman. There's Myles Gaskin. Those are guys who have had meaningful NFL
also
snaps.
Leonard
I'm not worried
Fournette
about
still a free agent.
So
it. He has. Yeah.
all right, boys. Let's move on here. I think this is a game that was referenced earlier, and a game that Corey had a very nice TikTok that he made last week in regards to one of these two teams. If you guys aren't following us on TikTok, please make sure that you do. For those of you catching this after after the live show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're at, make sure to give us a follow on all of our socials: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube.
Do it right now.
All of them. So, all right. We've got
We need to clip that one too. Do it right now. We need to get that one. 125.
All right, so let me know. I'll get it. We got the Chargers headed to Arrowhead to take on Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, a.k.a. the Kansas City Swifties.
Oh God.
They're officially going to change the name, by the way. I did hear there's a petition for it.
Yeah, it's racist.
All right, Chargers, Chiefs. This is an easy one for me. I'm taking the Chiefs at home. Chiefs are going to roll. I'll let you guys go ahead.
It's going to be a close game. Let me just throw that out.
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna say. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't see this being a close game at all, boys.
It's
I
the
do.
Chiefs.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. Other than the Bears, which are just sorry, Rob, I love you, buddy, but they're bad.
The Chiefs are the Bills, but they win them all.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, 100%, 100%.
We're gonna
Also,
play down to our opponent, but we're gonna win this game.
also, what part of it is Andy Reid just like I'm just gonna try shit out against teams that I feel like we can beat the shit out of.
Mhm.
McCole Hardman coming back to the Chiefs, 7th round pick given to the New York Jets for McCole Hardman. He's coming back to the Chiefs. Guys, he's automatically the fastest person on that roster now. Like I don't think people realize that it was like Tyreek Hill is really fast. McCole Hardman is almost as fast as he is.
He's not even on the Chiefs though, is he?
He just got traded.
Yeah,
Today.
Oh, I missed that today. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Thank you. I was golfing.
Yeah. No, McCole Hardman got traded. That was at like 3:00, Aaron. Hope your
I ducked
boss
out a little
doesn't
early.
listen.
I
but
hope he doesn't either. 'cause Anyways.
They've been looking for a new job anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
Todd with some comments here. Brandon Staley is on the hottest coach's seat you could possibly imagine. In the driver's seat multiple times against Dallas, couldn't pull out a W. Easier to fire the coach than the QB. You just paid a ton of money.
Yeah, and I think honestly, like at this point, I don't know about like you guys have made comments about Trevor Lawrence. I feel pretty good about Trevor Lawrence. Like I'm okay with him right now. I don't feel good about Justin Herbert.
I still do.
I don't. And the reason is Kellen Moore didn't fix this red zone offense. They are still anemic in the red zone. They cannot score. They need
Unless it's Austin Eckler.
They need 40 yards of room in order to be an effective offense. They can't score in the red zone. They demonstrated that countless times on Monday Night Football. It was bad. It was very, very bad. And I don't know what it is to fix it, but we're looking at some of like the best offensive minds supposedly in the NFL that are operating under this offense, but yet it still doesn't work. And I don't know what it is to fix it. So I'm starting to have questions. I'm not saying that I'm out on Justin Herbert. That's not what I'm saying. I have questions now as to whether or not he is able to execute a red zone offense in the NFL. And I think that those are valid questions based on the performance that we've seen over the last 2 years. They're just bad. They're bad. And you can talk about Brandon Staley all you want. Honestly, 5 years from now, we may just be looking at him as a scapegoat. at this point, and that depends wholeheartedly on the trajectory of what happens to Justin Herbert. Does Justin Herbert have the arm strength? Undoubtedly. Does he have the build, the body, the intermediate, all the different types of passes that you're looking for? Undoubtedly. Does he turn the ball over a lot? Not really.
No.
But does he pull the trigger and get you? Does he get that kill shot? I haven't seen it.
So so obviously you're talking about that, like the killer instinct, because you look like this to me kind of boils down to like the analytics in football now, right? Like Justin Herbert is like a nerd's wet dream.
Yeah.
Like when you take a look, he's got a 67% career completion percentage, 103 touchdowns, 37 pick, 96.7 rating. Like he's got everything that you look for on paper. And even the nerds will look at, he's got the size, he's got the speed. He's not a rusher by any means, but he's athletic enough to
he can move
if he needs to. So what is it? And to me, Corey, like I hear what you're saying, like he doesn't have the kill shot in him. And maybe that's it, because he is kind of this like soft spoken, and that's fine. I don't think you need to be like the boo raha guy every situation in order.
And you know what? As I'm saying this, Aaron, let me just check myself real quick. Like I'm looking at 2023 red zone scoring percentage. The Chargers are 5th. The Chargers are 5th. Like what? Why is it about like when the game matters, they can't score in the red zone? And maybe it's just that sticking out to me, because clearly the rest of the red zone, or the rest of the times in the red zone, they score touchdowns. But when they need to, when the game's on the line, that's what happens.
That's the thing.
That coaching or execution?
I go to coaching. I go to coaching because I really truly believe that Justin Herbert is like a top 7 quarterback in the league. Like he is far and above. Listen,
you shake your head. Okay,
you're shaking your head, and that's fine.
Let's name them. Let's play the game.
You want to play the game? All right.
Play the game. So in no particular order, top 5.
Okay. So we got
Mahomes.
We got Mahomes.
Hurts.
Hurts. Burrow. I'll take.
Allen.
You know what's so funny to me?
Do it.
I feel like if you traded them, they'd both be in better situations.
Burrow and Herbert?
No. Herbert and Allen. I think Herbert makes so much more sense on the Bills because they could finally run the ball. And then you have Josh Allen with Austin Eckler, who is like a receiving nightmare. And like he actually will be the running back in LA. It would never happen in a million years, but I actually oddly believe those. It doesn't matter.
All right. So Herbert, Burrow, Hurts, Mahomes,
Allen.
Bobby, you're the one that's saying you're questioning top 7. I think that was a question. What's the 5th? Who's 5?
I would put Tua above Herbert.
I would.
Okay.
He's leading the league in touchdowns and passing yards.
Well, he also has a wide receiver that's like 60 yards away from 1,000 through 6 games. So
there's not a bone in my body that doesn't believe that Justin Herbert could be just as successful if he was in that situation in Miami.
But that's not what we're talking about here.
Aaron Rodgers. Well,
we're talking about the best quarterback. So again, I can acknowledge, the Dolphins are better than the Chargers, but that doesn't mean
is Aaron Rodgers in this conversation?
No, he is not.
Okay.
Healthy, I believe he is.
Well, if he's
okay, but here's the other thing too: is what's the conversation? Is best like I will always factor the like.
What about
this guy has more potential to get better?
What about Brock Purdy?
Not a chance in hell.
Okay.
I don't think Brock. He might crack the top 10.
He's lost one
one
regular season game.
I said top 7. I don't think that's. That's like.
No, I think Herbert's there. I do.
I think Jared Goff's better than Justin Herbert.
Jared Goff is there. He's in the top 7.
Justin Herbert has never been given. They've never had to trade a first-round pick to get him off. Is it, like here's the thing. Yes, Jared Goff is playing well, but let's not forget
they might have to soon.
You think the Chargers are going to need to unload a first to get rid of Justin Herbert?
No, in a couple of years, maybe if it continues down this path.
They're
I
gonna.
mean,
never mind.
guys, what are we fucking? What is the spec?
No,
We're
no.
3
I don't-
years worth
no.
of speculation.
I don't think
What are
so.
we talking about here, guys?
No, I'm not.
How
I'm
long
not
has
there
Herbert
yet.
been in the league? And what
This
have they
is
The
his
done?
same
fourth
amount
season.
as Tua, the same amount as Burrow.
Okay.
Yeah, this is his fourth season.
Where's the success?
He's never won a playoff game.
You don't have to hold this opinion.
You can't
I
talk about
think-
the
I think-
roster though.
Yeah.
You can't talk about his roster.
Why? I'm talking about the coaching. No. I'm talking about the coaching.
Yeah. I was gonna say
That
the
we have
roster's been
seen-
great.
We have seen quarterbacks, players that get better in better. Like, yes, I think Herbert is playing well despite what he has there as his coaching. I really do. Like, if you're talking about first coach fired, like, here's the guy. Like, what is going on?
I'm sure the odds are not great.
Brandon Staley is, oh yeah, he's probably like right there. And again, Corey, you know this. I was one of the I have a big Herbert owner. Like we can acknowledge it. But I have also stepped back this year. Can you at least acknowledge the fact that I have stepped back from my Chargers love this year? Because why wouldn't
You're off the base and you're back to the tip at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Clip that.
You still got a hand there though.
Listen, guys. Herbert's still.
No, he's still good.
We're still taking the Chiefs.
I'm not saying Justin Herbert is a bad quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just
all I'm saying
he
is like
underperforming.
Like questions are going to start to be asked as well. Like if they just don't win, like good, like great quarterback. Let's just say great quarterbacks, and maybe he's not great. Maybe he's just really good, right? And oh darn, we have a really good quarterback and not a great one. Really good quarterbacks have won Super Bowls. Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl. I just think that questions are going to be asked. Like if they don't, like really great quarterbacks pull mediocre teams and coaches to greatness sometimes.
We're asking them now, and I don't think they're illegitimate questions to ask.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can't explain it outside of saying that's why I'm saying you need to change coaches because you need to figure out is it, what do you do when when something's broken? You put let's say like a DVD, right? You put it in something else because you're like, is it the player or is it the disc?
Yeah.
And that's what I need to find out right now. And to me, it's very obviously one answer, but I could be wrong.
For Gen Z's listening, DVDs are these discs that movies used to be on.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix started as DVD distribution. Crazy.
Okay. The internet's not working on your phone. Do you check your iPad before you unplug the router? Yeah, you do.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't have an iPad, so.
But you check your phone, like if it Netflix. Oh, it's
Yes.
not loading.
Yes,
Well,
check
I
my
got
phone.
full bars of Wi-Fi on the phone here, bud.
Yeah, that's clearly your phone, man.
Yeah,
I got internet.
Well, speaking of the accident there, Corey, we're gonna be headed up to Green Bay for the next game here. I assume everybody here had the Chiefs. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Denver Broncos in the Mile High Stadium. Todd saying that this is his least confident pick of the week. He says, I don't like it. You're absolutely right. Green Bay offense is bad, but so is Denver's defense. Basing this off Russ being a better quarterback.
Is he really?
That's it.
Oh my God. I think.
End quote.
Oh, okay. All right.
think
So
he
thoughts
is,
on
though.
that? That's why I wanted to lead off with that because I read
I think
it.
he
and I
is
was like,
better.
"Ooh."
I think he is better.
So what was that 2 weeks ago Monday night that they played? It was Packers Raiders, but that was Monday night, I think.
Yeah, I don't.
Or Sunday. It was a primetime game because I didn't watch it. So I had gotten back from vacation and then was like, all right, I'm exhausted. I'm not staying up to watch this crap.
Mm.
Heard that.
I missed that game entirely. And I swear to God, I watched the first two Packers games where Jordan Love, I know that the Falcons won that game, but Jordan Love was for a very short period of time leading the league in touchdowns without throwing an interception.
Yeah.
They were don't get me wrong, they're not great, but let's not forget the fact that this is the first year that they haven't had Aaron Rodgers since Brett Favre. Okay. Like there were going to be some growing pains with this team. I was high on the Packers at the beginning of the year, and yeah, they're 2-3, but I also think, and this is kind of similar to how Steelers fans are too. You're just so used to this level of play that when it's mediocre, you're like, what is this? Like take New England right now.
What is
Like,
happening right now?
They don't understand the fact that you can't just go from generational quarterback to generational quarterback and coach or whatever. I just think what we're seeing in Green Bay is growing pains. I think what we're seeing in Denver is straight up ineptitude. I'm taking the Packers here all day, and I'm taking this one hard.
Yeah, this is a tough game this week, man. This is a tough game. Let's see here. Tez says this pick sucks. Absolutely. Pops and Josh are both taking the Packers. Excuse me. Tez, I don't see your pick in there yet. I have no idea what I want to do with this game because Sean Payton is in a very interesting position, in my opinion. He dogged that entire coaching staff walking in to that team this season, and he has done nothing but produce just the worst.
Yeah, but before the season started, Bob, he started hedging it. He's like, that was one of the worst coaching jobs ever, but this team isn't where it needs to be. Like,
yeah,
he started hedging against it before the season even started.
Yeah, so I mean, he knew it was going to be a tough stretch ahead, and man, I don't like this game, in any way, shape, or form. Do you know what the line is on this? Like,
yeah, give me 2 seconds.
I would assume Broncos are probably favored since they're
Packers. Packers by 1.
Packers are favored by 1.
By 1.
Wow.
Also, I do want to note too, we always are used to the standard 3, right?
Yeah.
Vegas is now more so going with a 2.5 for home field advantage has not been the same since COVID. I don't know what the reason is, but the numbers reflect that.
Wow.
Catch me up. Where are you at?
So I was just telling Bobby that from the articles that I've read, because we were just going to the spread of the Packers Broncos game is 1 point. Vegas is now more or less acknowledging a 2.5 point spread for home as opposed to the traditional 3.
Interesting.
There has been a lot more road wins since COVID than against the spread. Home field advantage has not been as important the last couple of years for whatever reason. That could be a fluke. That could not.
Did you say last couple beers?
That's what I thought you said too.
Yeah, sound like beers. Nice.
Thank you. I wasn't going to bring it up because I didn't know if I was the only one that heard that.
For what it's worth, I know you had mentioned like we were like questioning like is Jordan Love is Russell Wilson better? For what it's worth, the updated NFL.com QB index rankings currently have Russell Wilson at 21, and they have Jordan Love at 29.
I think Love balls out this game.
29. I don't like Jordan Love at all. He doesn't make the throws that need to be made. In my opinion, he makes easy throws and he does those really well. I don't. There's never been a like, damn, dude, Jordan Love put that ball where it had to be, and he brought it down for. I haven't seen that yet. I'm not saying he's not capable of it because that would just be silly. The sample size isn't large enough for me to make that. Statistically speaking, Russell Wilson is having a pretty a much better year than he did last year. Could you say, well, a lot of those stats might be inflated due to the fact that they've had to throw a lot because their defense has fallen off a cliff under Sean Payton? Perhaps. But I think I don't know. I think that I've been to a game at Mile High. I know what that stadium is. And this is in Denver, correct? Am I correct in that?
It is in Denver, yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's like we're not taking it seriously, like going into Mile High as like something to be taken seriously because like the Broncos suck, and I get that. But I think that place is going to be loud just because they have a really passionate fan base because that's all that like the Avs have just started. And the Nuggets haven't started yet. They're just balls deep in Broncos football right now. But I'm going to go. I think Russell Wilson's better than Jordan Love. It's not by much, but I'm going to go with the Broncos.
I think we're forgetting, like, don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson's stats look, but here's why I hate just like pointing at stats and being like, oh, he's really good. 306 of those yards were in a game that they lost 70-20. Do you think they were running it?
That's a fair point.
Like, it's just there's inflated.
But then you gotta.
It's the same thing we're talking about, Bobby, like with the Steelers defense, right? Like when you're down, you're gonna have to throw the ball. And to the credit, I will give you like the touchdown interception ratio for sure. Like that to me is a better stat to look at than like yards and everything. But like QBR, he's 27. Like Russell Wilson has statistically played fine, but he's never played fine in the moments of the game where you're like, hey, can you know what would have been great in that Miami game? Like if we could put up some points early. No, they like, and again, that game was doomed to begin, but like we're 6 games in. One of those games, there was no point in that game they were in it.
I just there's been no reason for me to just be like, you know what, I'm really confident in Jordan Love. There's been nothing that has shown me that.
Okay, so I don't want to confuse that point with saying that, like, I'm not saying that I think Wilson is better. What I'm saying is like in a vacuum for like Wilson is bad. I understand that. Yeah. Like he's played better than last year, but like, I also just think the Packers have something to play for. I think like the vibes, if we want to just take it as lightly as possible, have just been bad in Denver. Like that is a sinking ship. And I actually just think what's going on in Green Bay is growing pains. And there's one that's a lot more tolerable for a locker room.
But I don't see. I just don't. Yeah, for a locker room perspective, I 100% agree with you. I just don't think Jordan Love's the future of the Green Bay Packers if they're going to be a playoff team.
That's fine. I'm not sold on either side of it yet.
Yeah,
but I think I to me it seems like the flip.
This is a douchebag and a shit sandwich right here. This is what I'm picking between.
I think Love balls out in this game.
Maybe.
What's that? Corey kind of cut there, but. He'll be back here in a second. And we'll get his point.
Beautiful face, though.
He still loses.
There you are. We lost you for quite a bit, so you'll have to repeat what you said.
I said he might ball out, and he probably still loses.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That in a game where I don't like either one, I'm going to take the home team. So. I have no other basis for this pick other than the Broncos are at home.
Am I lone wolfing no, Todd's on the Packers, right?
You have to, Bobby.
No, Todd's on the Broncos, so you're lone wolfing.
I feel like ordinarily when I'm like, I feel great about this one.
Okay. Well, we've got another tough game for the Sunday night game.
You guys want to double down on it?
What do you mean?
I get 2 or lose 2, vice versa.
No.
All right.
No.
I'm tied with you. Like, no.
I'm just hey. I thought I'd make it interesting.
All right. We've got a pretty high-powered matchup here for the Sunday night game. Probably the best Sunday night game that we'll have, at least to date, so far this season. I've got the Miami Dolphins headed to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Should be a very interesting game to watch. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I'll lead this one off, boys.
Finally,
since I don't lead these off. Hey, I'm over here.
Yeah, but you hold down the
control the flow.
You're fine.
So leave me alone. Yeah. So obviously you've got the kind of the tale of like two sides of the ball here. You've got the Dolphins with the most explosive offense in the NFL, and the Eagles with one of the better defenses in the NFL. And I think the Dolphins, when they run into teams that actually have solid defenses, they actually struggle a little bit because their defense is not great. And the Eagles have both offense and defense. I think they have the ability to play both sides of the ball better than most teams, which is obviously why they're, perennial, NFC championship and Super Bowl contenders. So that this is another one I've been thinking about a lot today because I love just the high powered run and gun offense, no fucks given, mentality that the Dolphins have when they possess the football. But on the other hand, the Eagles coming off a tough L to the Jets last week. They're at home. They bounce back. I'm making a decision on the fly. I'm taking the Eagles. Corey.
I'm looking at the spread on this one.
It's got to be close. Let's see here. Tez is taking the Dolphins.
2 points.
Pops
2 points.
and
2.5.
the Eagles.
2.5 on Caesars. Dude, I'm hammering the Eagles with the spread here. Absolutely hammering the Eagles minus 2.5. They are going to beat the shit out of the Dolphins. I'm so confident in this pick. I'm so they are clearly the better team. Clearly the better team from top to bottom. It's not even close. Who have the Dolphins beat this year? Oh, let's walk down memory lane, shall we? Shall we just explore what the fuck the Dolphins? They beat the Chargers week 1. At the time, we're like, well, they beat the Chargers. The Chargers are probably a pretty good team this year. Turns out, maybe not. Then they beat the Patriots. Terrible team. They beat the Broncos. Terrible team. They get their fucking teeth kicked in by the Bills. Then they go beat the Giants. Terrible team. And beat the Panthers. Terrible team. They have played no one except for the Bills, and they lost. I'm not buying in yet. I just can't. I'm not yet. Beat the Eagles. Beat the Eagles, and I'll believe.
Yes, that would be an impressive win.
Beat the Eagles, and I will believe. Until then, I ain't buying, bro. I'm gonna buy in on one of the best regular season quarterbacks that has been in the NFL since Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. I'm going to buy in one of the most complete rosters in the NFL and Aaron's preseason pick to win the Super Bowl and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not even close to me. I'm taking the Eagles. I'll take a minus 3.5. I might even flex it, get a little bit of juice in there.
Hey, man, it's good to be confident.
All right, Aaron, we'll let you go last on this one. I'm going to throw Todd's pick in here. Philly had their first true defensive test, and they couldn't win. Sirianni made an ego move, and it backfired. Great Sunday night game. Can't wait to watch Miami.
Makes me nervous rolling with Todd the last two. It really does. Oh, wait, no. He didn't take Denver. No. Corey, you bring up great points about the Dolphins, and I think it's fair. It's who have they won? And they lost to the Bills. Division game, I usually
on the road.
With that, yeah. I'm okay with that one. I'm not looking at the Dolphins as a undefeated team, right? So I'm fine with them winning. Like same thing I felt with the 49ers, as I actually felt with the Eagles as well. That's one thing I love about this season and why doing these pick'ems is so fun. And I'm glad everyone's joining us too, because dude, this is a great parity year across the NFL. There are so many question marks across everywhere. You can pick any game with any uncertainty or certainty, and you're never going to be 100% confident in the picks that you make, because that's what's great about the NFL, and that's why we love doing this.
A-Chain is out. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I love the Eagles. They're my pick. They're going to remain my pick to win this year. This pick would have been so much easier for me if they actually beat the Jets, because it's like, all right, here's finally, like, they're going to lose a game. I'm taking the Dolphins, though, guys.
I knew you fucking were.
Okay, but here's the thing. You want to make the point about who have they beaten, and I look at the Eagles and I go, they're the team that's going to coast until we get to the playoffs. Like, they're the LeBron James Cavs, where we're going to get in, don't care who we play. We're going to be in the Super Bowl. We're going to be the bullies of the NFC because we're the best team in the NFC. Now, the 49ers may have something to say about that, but the Eagles are going to keep walking with this confidence. Guys, right. You were talking about the Chargers that the Dolphins beat, right? Looked impressive week 1. Week 1 for the Eagles, 25-20. They barely beat the fucking Patriots. Okay. And I remember watching the game. The Patriots
offense looked slow. Offense looked bad.
Second week, Thursday Night Football, they barely beat the Vikings, right? And I remember after 2 weeks, everyone's like, what's going on with the Eagles? Like, yeah, they're winning, but
offense looked bad.
Doesn't look great. 25-11 against the Buccaneers, great. 34-31 against the Commanders. Like, that's a team that
Commanders were the first team to beat them last year as well.
Rams were a competitive game, but Eagles pretty much handled that. And then they lose to the New York Jets. So I just think it's fair to hear both sides of the schedule argument, just because I hear what you're saying on the Dolphins, but I also don't think the Eagles have been putting people away. And the Dolphins wins, although you can't pick who you play against, have been more dominating and more impressive. So the reason I take the Dolphins is not because I think that the Eagles are the worst team, but because the Dolphins can go down 28-0 and they're still in the game, and the Eagles can't.
You're taking the fucking Miami Dolphins on a 53-degree night in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where the
perfect time to go to Philly.
lake is gonna be rocking. Worst fans in the world, but the best fans in the world for their team. But they're a cesspool of humanity.
Can't tell you I'm confident, but the Dolphins aren't going to ever be out of a game this year unless they're down 31 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, even when
Tua
they went
throws
down
2 picks in this game,
even when they went down 14-0 last week, like I was like, dude, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna win by like at least like 2-3 touchdowns, and they came back and just stopped.
I had this going. I was like, oh, I was really hoping. I was so God. I was just like, beat him.
Took him in his Survivor League, and he was sweating that first quarter. I'm like,
dude, I wanted them to lose. So it just would have felt so.
I wasn't worried about that at all. And I threw it to you guys in the chat. I took a random bet. It was like the bands where you can bet like within 10 points, and I had them between 40 and 51 because I was like, oh, dude, the Dolphins are going to eat. And even it was 14-0, and I was like, I still think it's in play. In fact, I like this because they had to start with the brakes on. And damn well they scored 42.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had them at like a 16 in my confidence pool, like to beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
But I was like, please lose.
Right. You're glad to give those up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the other thing, guys. Let's acknowledge it. We actually have a good Sunday night football game.
Yeah.
Like I am
one so far
jacked up about this.
Honestly, Sunday
on paper,
but at the same time, like Sunday night football is the best product in the NFL.
Yeah,
by far. Just due to the flex of like them being able to flex a game out later in the season.
It's also nice, like whether you want to talk from like a gambling perspective too, like depending how your day's going. Like if you're feeling plot, you're like, oh, let's sprinkle we want somebody. Let's sprinkle a little on something. And Bobby, you said on paper, and obviously that's the case. But part of the allure of Sunday night football is like it's the carry on. Like I've been waiting all day for Sunday night, dude.
God, she's so good looking.
It's just like sometimes the anticipation of the game is like, is it going to be a great game? I don't know, but I'm jacked up about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Should be a wonderful football game to watch. I'd be interested to maybe go.
I actually get to root for the Eagles for once. This would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a good time. All right, let's move on to Monday night. We've got prime time Kirk Cousins.
Oh boy.
Monday night just coming out.
Future Brown.
Taking on the 49ers, but they are at home. Vikings are at home against the 49ers. Corey, lead us off.
I mean,
it's like, I know we're all taking the 49ers. I'm just saying, do you have anything to say about this game?
No. I mean, you got the 49ers in a dome. This is going to be one of the fastest fucking beatdowns in the history. This team plays so fast. The only thing I'm worried about, like I believe McCaffrey's dealing with an oblique, if I'm not mistaken.
McCaffrey doesn't play this week.
They don't need him to.
No way.
They can roll without him.
They don't need him to. And even if they lose, they're okay because it's not a divisional loss. Like, yeah, it's a conference loss, but not to like the Eagles or, the Seahawks or something. Like it's not to a team that's going to matter in playoff time. So like this is like I don't know. This is like let's see what we can do here. Like let's test our playbook. Let's test our roster. Let's
put a little more on Brock.
Let's put more on Purdy and see what that arm can he carry us? Like absolutely. Like but nonetheless, like no J Jets. I can't trust Alexander Madison for anything. And
no.
Kirk Cousins not at 1:00. Are you kidding me? Niners.
Yeah. I agree. Everybody in the chat agrees. Aaron, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think there's just going to be some aggression in this game too. I think the Niners are pretty pissed that they lost last week.
Dude, can we talk about this real quick? I'm not trying to be a dick. You got handed the game.
I don't agree. And there's a couple of things. One, I have been on. I can't tell you how many other sides of that game.
Irrelevant.
You're not going to get any.
I'm not going to take it away from you. You won the game.
No. You can take it away from me. I have no empathy for that argument because of the million other times I've been on the other side of that.
I get that, but you see what I'm saying. One, that was a fumble. Can we just talk about that? The pass.
Okay.
Fumble, 100%. 100%.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of calls going on at the end of the game with the.
But here's the thing: that was the most penalized game of any game. The refs were bad from the start.
It was a gross game to watch.
It wasn't like everything was on the 49ers side.
It wasn't just at the end either. I 100% get that argument. Also the same argument that
41-yard
you
field
made,
goal to win it.
the same point that you made to where like you were watching the Bengals in red zone. You know, take that with a grain of salt. I was watching the Browns in commercials and toward. I watched the complete end of the game though.
Well, yeah, because at that point it was all right.
It was all yellow.
So did you see the play where I can't believe they changed it, but where we got called for a face mask on the kick?
I didn't see that one.
They just got the wrong team. And it was a punt and they called a face mask on us. And then they showed the replay and it was just the 49ers guy completely face masking and throwing our guy into the ground.
Well,
and the crowd made such an uproar that the refs got together and were like, "Our bad."
No, I didn't see that, but I saw the pivotal pass interference calls.
It was a terribly reffed game from start to finish.
I saw all, nonetheless, had to make the kick, didn't do it. So it is what it is. But this is going to be an ass beating.
Yeah. So that's how I feel. So do you remember back in the day, you could play like NCAA 14. You do like your create a player and you get through your season, whatever. You play 4 years. Maybe it's the first time you've played that year. And then you're like, fuck, I want to do that again. And you go back and your season starts over with high school. And you're like going off for 400 yards as an individual. That's what the 49ers are going to do in this game because they went against the Browns defense last week. And now they get the Minnesota It's like taking the donut off the bat.
Yeah.
Hitting a grand slam. They are going to absolutely eat. And it's similar to kind of what you guys were talking about with the Eagles. You know, for the they're going to come out and play well because of how bad they played last week. And I think there's going to be a little added aggression and into the way that they play. And yeah, I do think they put a little bit more on Brock Purdy this week if Christian's going to be out.
Yeah, absolutely. This Monday night game will not be exciting in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know if I will be tuning in, but we may. We'll see. Well, boys, do we want to save the awards for next week when we got all four of us, or do you guys want to do that?
Yeah, we can save it. Let's save it.
We can save it.
Let's save it for Toddy.
Perfect, because I would like to hit the hay here on the sooner rather than the later.
What did the hay do to you?
Oh, the hay did nothing.
This fucking traps are looking good, Bob.
Thanks,
looking
man.
Good, buddy.
Yep, we're working on it. It's work in progress. Work in progress. We're getting there. We're on the way. So, chat. Appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Carp, thanks for letting us know you're still alive.
Can I just say something real quick? Sometimes our best thoughts are had in a couple of places. One, shower thoughts. Often people think, if I just had a notepad in the shower, I could write down some of the things I think of in there. And the other place for me is typically standing above a toilet as I piss. And as I took a break tonight and relieved myself, I had a thought, and it was a sincere one. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody that consistently tunes into this show on a regular basis. You guys take time out of your day, for the most part, to watch our entire live stream. That's amazing to me. And no, we're not the biggest podcast on the planet yet. And you know, we don't have all the fancy bells and whistles, and we know we don't know everything, and we put our foot in our mouths sometimes, and we look silly and whatever, and take our shirts off and whatever. But you guys still tune in every fucking week. I'm looking at you, Tez. I'm looking at you, Charlie, and Carp, and everybody, and Rob, and I know I'm Josh. I'm missing people, I'm sure, but I honestly, I'm just blown away by that. I'm super thankful for that. You guys make this show what it is, and you're awesome, and we love you, and thank you very, very, very much for doing that.
Absolutely.
What a magical piss that must have been.
It was good.
Yeah. You dream of those. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully not. And you get
Yeah. Then you piss the bed. Yeah.
Well, that's a very rally towel way to sign us off here tonight. Corey, thank you for that. Chat, thank you guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys next week. Best of luck in your fantasy football. And we'll see you guys then. Peace.
Peace.